Wendy Knowler, welcome back.
Hello, Jacob. It's quite unique for me to sit opposite you and we're not even talking cars.
Yeah, we've changed things up. We're talking a lot of other things. And I want to start by talking about this Greek yogurt conversation that I've been having.
Okay.
Is it normal for a consumer or somebody to sell Greek yogurt as Greek style? Is that fine?
They have to. That's what the labeling regulations require them to do, to say it's style, rather because the Greek yogurt has very specific requirements in terms of what's in it, etc., in order to be called Greek. So I'm 99% sure that's the case. I haven't had enough time to research it, but that I remember there was a change in the regulations that required the word style to be added if it didn't fully meet the criteria of a pucker Greek yogurt.
I think what people need to be doing is doing a comparison from the real stuff to the one that's Greek style.
Well, I would say that it's more the organisms in it that are good for gut health versus what it tastes like. So you would need to look at the analysis on the packaging, know what you're looking for, and then look for it on the packs.
Okay, well, we'll leave it right there. Let's get into the more important things. There's our listener, Alan Ramsey, who had a 5-star experience with the City of Cape Town's Crash Data Bureau. We're going to delve into another listener's query about the use of a form of plastic in mass market tea bags, and we'll return the issue of the websites which claim to be selling homegrown, upmarket, local clothing and footwear, but are instead getting the stuff shipped from China. But Wendy, let's start with an uplifting story first.
I loved this, and thank you to Alan Ramsey for sharing it with us. This is how his email went. We were involved in a car accident and needed to compile all the paperwork for the insurance claim. A lot of listeners will relate to this. This included the police report, a report that had been made at Deep River SAPS, but a copy of which we did not ask for at the time, and you needed for the insurance claim. 6 weeks after the accident, needing this report, I visited Deep River SAPS and was told that every Wednesday, all reports are sent to the City of Cape Town's Crash Data Bureau in Goodwood. Oh dear, I thought, going there and retrieving the report is going to be a long, tedious process. And don't we just think the worst when it comes to bureaucracy? So, well, that's why I love this story. He says, I phoned first and my call was immediately answered by Joy Hannibal. She sounded very efficient and proved most efficient. She quizzed me on the date of the accident and report number and said, hold on, and within about 3 minutes, came back to me with details of the report. She gave me the email address to apply and asked for my date of birth, pointing out that pensioners don't need to pay the usual fee of 190 Rand. When I got home, I immediately emailed the bureau with the expectation that the report would probably arrive late this week or early next week, being a government department. However, the report was in my inbox less than 20 minutes later.
No ways.
Isn't that fantastic?
That's amazing.
So yeah, credit where it's due. Ellen says, I told Joy I want her to run all government departments.
I agree. We often deal with these issues and we think we'll never get it done quickly, but 20 minutes.
That's fantastic. So please, anyone listening, if you've had a good experience where most of us tend to assume it will not be so good, please share with us, because it's very heartening for those who work really hard at in a service capacity. It's really heartening for them to get credit for it, public credit.
I think as a former Joburger coming to Cape Town.
Well, and I'm a former Durban person, so we appreciate Cape Town.
We appreciate the service here. I remember a couple of months ago, I had a traffic fine that I needed to pay for. And I asked a friend of a friend on where to go. And he's like, oh, you're out in southern suburbs. Why don't you go to Pinelands? They've got a place there. You can go. Then he said there's a cheat code though. And I asked, what's the cheat code? And he said best time to go would be on Friday between 1 and 2 p.m. or between 12 and 2 p.m. because a lot of the Muslim guys go for their prayers on that day. And can I tell you, Wendy, I was in and out there in like 7 minutes.
Wow. Okay. Now you've just shared the hack.
That's the hack. That's the cheat code. I'm happy to share that. I mean,
good.
Well, yeah,
that's
all
what
need
we're here for. Yes,
exactly.
Okay.
So our next one. Plastic in tea bags.
Yeah, so listener Barbara Jones wrote to Pippa and I to say, some time ago Wendy mentioned that many tea bags contain plastic. I don't even remember, this must have been a long time ago, which I found most alarming and changed to loose tea as a result. But why is this not mentioned on the outer packaging? Surely if it's required by law to list all constituents of packaged and manufactured products, it should apply to the tea bag pouch as well, as we are indirectly consuming plastic fibers. So I reached out to Durban-based Juckles Tea Packers. Their marketing and brand strategy manager, Candice Sessions, obliged with an explanation, which went like this. The bulk of the market remains in conventional tea bags, as this is the most widely used and affordable format. Other formats, such as tagged tea bags and pyramid bags, are significantly more expensive. Tagged tea bags cost around 30% more. Pyramid bags are those silky ones. I'm a tea drinker. I don't drink coffee at all. So
Okay.
my partner travels a lot, and he comes back with these individually wrapped that he's got from airport lounges and
Oh, wow.
hotels and things. And there are so many of them, the premium brands have switched to
The pyramid.
this silky. Yeah. And here's one of the reasons why. But yeah, they cost 30% more. So converting all tea to these seal-free formats would make tea less affordable for regular South Africans.
Oh, wow.
In relation to potential consumer concerns, tagless tea bags are made from cellulose-based papers. To ensure that the bags can be safely heat-sealed and keep the tea firmly contained, a very small percentage of thermoplastic polyolefin, any guesses? Polyolefin, I think so.
I'll go with that.
Fibers and a wet strength agent are added. Here's the perspective. For close to a century, millions of people around the world have safely enjoyed tea made from tea bags like these. This composition complies fully with all relevant regulations and standards for food production materials, including the World Health Organization, FDA, and the German Federal Institute for Risk Assessment. As for the labeling issue, remember Barbara wanted to know why don't they disclose whatever plastic element they have.
Yes.
These materials form part of the tea bag material rather than the tea ingredient itself. Food labeling regulations require the ingredients in the tea blend to be declared, while food contact packaging materials are governed through separate packaging and food safety regulations. The materials used in tea bag manufacture are therefore regulated as packaging components rather than food ingredients. She says some manufacturers are also moving towards PLA for the sealing of conventional tea bags. It's derived from plant-based sources and is biodegradable. And I've seen in some of these tea bags coming from overseas, they will say plant-based material used.
Oh, I see.
So yeah, it's obviously there's a move towards it, but I think it's going to remain very much in the premium brand. So if
Should
you wanted
we be
to got a
worried?
favorite, I don't think we should be worried.
Oh, there we go.
I don't think we should be worried. It's like anything. It's dosage. I mean, it's not it's a tiny bit used in a seal, and I think we certainly, if there were any concerns, those prominent world safety organizations would have flagged it.
They definitely
by
would
now.
have.
So I don't think there's a need to switch to loose tea, although it's nice every now and then. I always have some loose tea when I feel like it, but
Yes.
yeah.
There's nothing wrong.
I wouldn't say it's a cause for panic. Yeah.
We're chatting to Wendy Knowler, Consumer Ninja, on Lunch with Pippa Hudson. My name is Jacob Moshokoa. I'm in for Pippa Hudson, and I'm with you until 3 o'clock. And Wendy and I are getting into our third topic now, and this is about websites.
Well, I want to do something first before we go there.
Uh-oh.
Okay.
Am I in trouble?
No, not at all. Juckles, which was the tea packer who I went to for this information.
Yes.
So they supply most of the supermarket's own label tea, including the Forage and Feast Ceylon tea that it's Checkers' own brand, Forage and Feast. So the Ceylon tea is made by Juckles. So when I checked on the 6060 app yesterday, the Forage and Feast Ceylon, now Ceylon is the premium tea.
Yes.
The other forms of black tea, but Ceylon is the pinnacle, right? When I looked on the website, on 6060 rather, the Forage and Feast 102 bag pack of Ceylon, black Ceylon tea was 20 Rand cheaper than the Five Roses equivalent.
20 Rand.
Yeah, and this is the thing. If you just put the keyword tea in, you will get Five Roses. I actually couldn't find the Forage and Feast tea. I actually had to specifically search for it. And I was like, why is that? Well, big brands pay for that prime digital real estate. Just like in a physical store where you're my eye level is not everybody's eye level, but typically the big brands will pay to be eye level, like where you don't have to reach up or down too much to get the brand
On the shelf.
So sometimes the smaller competitors that are better coming in at a cheaper price point, they'll be at the bottom on the bottom shells or the top ones.
What?
And it's obviously the same on these apps as well, which I hadn't actually considered before.
So Five Roses came up earlier.
That was the first result.
Versus the Ceylon Forest and Feast Ceylon tea.
Yeah. At 20 Rand a pack cheaper. So yeah, play around with that if you're shopping online.
Wow.
It's interesting, isn't it? Okay, now we can go into this.
Wait, we got messages now coming.
have we?
Somebody
Okay.
says, can't believe the price of tea. The red pack Five Roses is so much more expensive than the African blend of Five Roses. That's quite interesting too.
Yeah, because the Ceylon tea is premium.
Oh,
What
yes.
I was just
As you
saying.
said, it's a premium brand.
Yeah, the premium form of tea.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Liz on WhatsApp sending us a message saying, unfortunately, I don't have a positive report about our SASA government department. So we spoke earlier with Wendy about a positive report about getting an
Crash
accident
Bureau.
report from the
Yes.
Crash Bureau. And she says, regarding a 95-year-old law-abiding senior citizen and would like to have them exposed via CapeTalk next week, please.
Okay.
That is
I'll need
Liz.
an email, please, Liz.
Yeah, Liz, please send us an email. Send us an email to...
Well, you can. The easiest thing is to go onto my website, which is wendyknowler.coza.
There we go.
And there's a form there. And I like people to do that because I prompt you. The form prompts you to give me all the information that I need.
Perfect. Wendy Knowler.
Coza.
.coza. Check it out there. And then we've got another message coming in here saying, is Telkom allowed to phase out landlines using underhand methods like refusing to fix their copper lines when a storm causes it to break down, resulting in a phone that's very noisy or even dead? That from Gordon. Thank you so much for that, Gordon.
This is an issue I've covered many times over the years.
Yeah.
And yes, I have sympathy for Telkom because these copper lines get stolen,
Yeah.
and they've been forced to replace over many years. But in some cases, I remember there was a woman up the west coast, Veldrif, I think she lived in, and she was, living alone, elderly. And I remember that they restored her copper line when I took it up with Telkom. So in some cases where the circumstances call for it, she just wasn't getting a good enough signal for the internet-based line. So they made a plan for her. But if there's something that our listener wants me to look in specifically, then I'll be needing an email from him too, please.
Gordon, you get onto the email
Gordon.
if you want more there. Very good question asking there. And I remember maybe a couple of years ago I was listening to 702 and I might have heard you talk about this.
Yeah,
the
it's
Telkom
been years
line.
now, and it caused a huge stir in the beginning because they didn't properly tell people, especially elderly people, what the change was going to be in terms of they now got something which looked more like a cell phone to them, and
and that's intimidating.
The line wasn't as clear, and all the rest. Yeah.
And then another one coming in here from Steve-O saying, Jacob and Wendy, speaking of tea bags, I recently noticed that buying those loose tea leaves is not locally available in most big retailers. Thanks.
Yeah,
is that the case?
because it's demand.
Oh, I see.
So if it's not selling, then they won't dedicate shelf space to it because there's so many brands and all of them wanting space on the shelf.
Jill Lanham saying, hello, talking plastic. Why did Black Cat peanut butter switch to plastic bottles? Remember there used to be glass botttos many years ago.
Yeah, they did. They were resistant to doing it because the glass bottle was so what's the word I'm looking for? So much part of their brand.
Yes.
Everyone
yes.
else had gone to plastic. I'm guessing production costs also, it's not that enviro-friendly because the weight of the glass adds quite a bit to transport costs.
Okay.
And so I think they just bowed to the pressure and went the plastic route. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm pretty sure that the plastic bottle will be recyclable.
Okay.
And it is often the case that the plastic is more in demand for recycling purposes than the glass.
Oh, okay, I see.
So there's a whole lot of factors there. To be corrected, this question just came in cold. I haven't had a chance to research it, but I've been following this trend for a while, and that's pretty much the answer. I miss that. I mean, being older, I have a few jars with the tiger embossed in
bottle.
glass.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
it's a
yes.
beautiful iconic bottle.
And you still find use for the glass as well. It's not going to waste.
Yeah, well, that's why I still have some. So maybe many of us could just remember the glass in the way we're repurposing it.
The websites which appear to be local and in need of our support, but that's not what they are there for. This is something I've heard come up on Consumer Talk before.
Yeah,
Wendy.
we have spoken about it, not for a while, but I'm still getting complaints about it. In my inbox, colloquially, a lot of people fall for it. So they advertise on social media brands, a lot on Facebook, and they give themselves cute names, normally two, like Molly and Daisy. I'm making this up, and and they create this story. If you screenshot the images, you don't find them when you do a reverse image search because they're AI generated.
Oh.
You only found that result, right? So there'll be these two people, and they've been partners in retail for 30 years, and it's a beautiful fitted shop in the background. It's like all very upper, whatever. And everything's on sale, and the pictures look great. And so you place your order, and it comes as if you'd ordered it from Temu or Shein in the plastic thing. There's no tissue paper. There's nothing premium at all, and the quality is just not there. It certainly doesn't match the picture. And then they advertise. So in the case we're going to talk about today, it's this Cape Town, that local, that free returns, lovely.
Okay.
To China.
Wendy teased earlier about these websites that are actually branded Cape Town at the end of them. But
and Joburg and Durban. That's a backstory. My hometown of the Bluff, and I'm from Durban. We don't really refer to my hometown, the Bluff. Anyway, at least it's the Bluff, not just Bluff. But yes, it creates this impression. The one we've done this. There've been many examples. So this particular one was one that our listener Linda fell for. It's Miller and Rose.
Yeah, this one is Miller and Rose, Cape Town.
Cape Town, and so it's very Cape Town. This Cape Town that very local is like a vibe.
Yes.
And the images are very sort of premium.
Yes.
So there's beautiful shop fitting in the background, and their story is that they've been in business together, this clothing, for 31 years, but now they're closing down. A lot of them will go for this, closing down, like why? But we're closing down. So it's creating the must get in quick. Everything looks like it's on sale. Meanwhile, it's still 10 times what you'd pay on shouldn't laugh, and Shein or Temu. And so Linda spent just over 4,000 Rand.
Wow.
On, I think it was 5 items, tops and some shoes. This is the other thing. They like to say they're orthopedic shoes. They're orthopedic nothing. There's no orthopedic anything about them. Anyway, so and they also say free returns. Now, in terms of ECTA, the electronic transactions and electronic communications and I've said this a million times. ECTA, Electronic Communications and Transactions Act. Okay,
yes,
it governs online shopping.
I see.
And because unlike when you're in a physical store, you don't have the chance to touch, feel, try on, etc. You've got a 7-day cooling off period. There doesn't have to be anything wrong with the product. You just get to say, I don't want them. Please, I'm sending them back. Please give me a refund.
Yeah.
Now, the Act makes provision for the company, the retailer, to make you pay to send the stuff back, because there's nothing wrong with them, right? Unless there's something wrong with it, then they must pay. But if there's nothing wrong with them, you just don't like them. I mean, you could argue this point. You could say, well, it was misleading. But anyway, they say free returns.
Yes.
Okay. Yes. Small print, it is there in this one, is that the return address, you have to send them back to China. They don't give you the address. And when you ask, as Linda did, it's...
Pillar to post.
I'll get it to it. It's Zhejiang province, whatever. Anyway, their warehouse supposedly. So, yeah, some of the things that website says, based in South Africa, operating locally with care and transparency. I mean, these guys have got chutzpah. I'll give them that. I mean, it's all just a lot of
After
lies.
31 amazing
You're
years,
reading
Miller
it now.
and Rose is closing its doors. Thank you for your support. Enjoy up to 60% off across all collections during our final sale.
They misspelt it. What they meant is pay 10 times more for the stuff from China. So I had a look. Well, that's code for. I asked my son to tell me. I do know the site says Wayback Machine, wherever you can find out when the website was created, which is always a good idea.
30-day money back guarantee.
This one was created in January of 2026, and the license is for a year. Yeah, there's really one thing is a complete made up rubbish story, and there's so many of them doing it. It's basically a drop ship. Before a listener phones in and says it's a drop shipping operation. Yes, it's a drop shipping operation. We know this. Okay. So the interesting thing about Linda's case, and this is a bit of a tip, is that she did something that I've been advocating for years since the budget airlines started closing at a rate of knots about 15 years ago, one time, and all of that, is if you paid by credit card you didn't get what you paid for. And so in this case, she did get, but it was a complete misrepresentation. You go to your bank and you lodge a chargeback. That's the word, a chargeback dispute. And to cut a long story short, it basically involves your bank going to the bank of the merchant and saying this is the story, and unless that merchant can prove to the bank that it wasn't misrepresentation or whatever the case may be, they will refund you. And Linda got her refund of just over 4,000 Rand. Thank you, ABSA.
Fantastic. So the bank did all the hard work for her.
The bank did all the hard work. It's a bit of a different one, but it's not like she didn't get what she ordered. She just it wasn't what she was led to believe she was going to get, right? And so now she's sitting with the goods and the money. And so she starts, the only way you can engage with this crowd is an email address. Now, that's a red flag, and it's also illegal. If you're operating supposedly in South Africa, you need to have a physical address that you declare, that you disclose, which would allow us to go into Google Maps and check it out. If it doesn't look likely, that's your red flag. If it does, it's, or sometimes the addresses don't actually even exist. The other thing they've got to do is put a phone there. So if you only see an email address, that's
the red flag.
That's a huge red flag. Anyway, so she starts engaging with this woman. She's trying to do the right thing. She doesn't want the clothes. She's never going to wear them in the first place.
She wants to send them back.
So she gets told, no, it's you've got to send it to what did they call it? Our international fulfillment facility. Anyway, so on the website it says you've got to send it back to China. This is very small print that no one reads, and it's shipping costs start from 4,000 Rand. So I said to Linda, please do me a favor, go to Postnet, go to the post office, get some quotes of what it would actually cost you to send this stuff back to China. Well, I want to say take a guess, but I know you've read my prep.
Oh, I saw that. Cheapest, 4,300 Rand. 300 Rand, almost 300 Rand more than Linda actually paid. So that is that's obviously not going to happen. So Linda's saying, I will send you. You said you were a Cape Town company. Yes.
You claimed that. Give me a Cape Town address, and I will gladly courier these products that I don't want to that address. But I'm not spending 4,300 Rand to send them back to China, because then she's still out of pocket by over 4,000 Rand.
It's unbelievable.
So then came the threat. As your refund has already been processed, we consider the final aspect of the order resolved. Otherwise, we will unfortunately have to take legal action. As I said to Linda, I'd like to see them try.
Oh,
that'll be a great story. Another, the last time we discussed this issue, the complainant held out because what they normally do is when a person says, I'm not sending them back to China, don't be ridiculous. And they say, well, we'll refund you 20% and you can keep the clothes. And then the biggest amount I've heard is I think they refunded them 60%, which is better than nothing if your bank is not willing to entertain a chargeback. But if you're in this situation and your bank isn't ABSA, then you can say, well, I've heard CapeTalk show where they
Wendy said
it's total misrepresentation and my bank should be protecting me.
This is very interesting. How do we stay away from websites like this? I myself can tell an AI generated website, but what about the people who can't?
Well, So doing a reverse image, well, if you do a reverse image, that's the other thing. On the products, you will see them being sold on Chinese websites for a song.
Simple as
that. So that's the first thing
that's
you
a good
should
start.
always do. Because if you do a reverse image on their website pictures, you're going to get nothing. You're going to get that made up website.
Yeah.
Because it's AI generated. These technology things, AI is making things so easy for the skellums. It's frightening. Anyway,
I can only imagine how much these skellums made in terms of money since
Yes.
setting up this website in January.
well, yeah, and there are a lot of them. So I saw the other reason I thought, well, let me mention it now. A couple of weeks ago, the Advertising Regulatory Board considered one of these cases. In that case, the website was called Mia and Leah. Always so cute. Cape Town. Again, a beautiful, artfully created photograph of these two imaginary people. And the woman said, it's false advertising. Free delivery with a courier guy throughout South Africa. She said because when she spoke to the courier guy, they said no, we weren't aware of this company at all. So everything was just a lie. And surprise, surprise, the Advertising Regulatory Board's directorate was not able to get a response from the advertiser. Oh, that's what I meant to say. I wrote to that email address because I'm doing a formal media query. You've got to give companies the right of reply, right? And I said, just as misleading. Where's the Cape Town address? If you can't provide one, having said you're a Cape Town company and that was the basis on which this purchase was made, then you are hiding to nothing with legal whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway, no response, and that was more than 2 weeks ago. So I did offer them the right of reply, as did the Advertising Regulatory Board, and got nothing.
As you should.
And
they're probably running these schemes in many other countries by literally saying whatever the name is. Miller and Rose in Blantyre, Miller and Rose in anywhere, Maputo, wherever
Miller
it could
and
be.
Rose, and this was what Mia and Leah, and it's always a story, and they do just a bit enough of AI research on the local place to kind of put in the odd reference that sounds believable.
This is so scary.
And so we just need to be wise.
Yeah.
to this ploy, because it's actually, once you know what to look for and once you know how to protect yourself, if you don't see an email address, well, you're going to see an email address, but if you don't also see a phone number that you must phone and check that's actually valid, and a physical address.
Yeah.
And then just Google, put it in, and then into a search with the word scam after it, and then you'll see what other people have posted. So yeah, it's just unfortunate, and so many of us are shopping online now, but we really, really need to have our wits about us.
Well done to Linda for getting her money back with the help of her bank.
Yeah.
What was that charge process again when you go to the bank? Charge back. Don't forget that, guys. A charge back. My name is Jacob Moshokoa. The number to dial 072-567-1567. Myself and Wendy are going through your messages. Wendy, when I see the adverts, I Google if they're legit and get an immediate response.
Yes.
They've all been fake. This is Angela from Hout Bay. Good on you,
Well
Angela.
done, Angela.
Good on you. Another one saying, I'd like to raise a concern about something that happened to me yesterday at Checkers Cape Gate. I bought an item that was advertised on the shelf as having a 50 Rand discount. However, after I paid and got home, I checked my slip and noticed that I only received a 20 Rand discount, not the 50 Rand that was advertised. I went back to the store with my slip and they did refund me the 30 Rand difference,
Good.
Which I appreciate. But my concern is this: how many customers don't check their slips properly and end up missing out on discounts they were supposed to receive?
Well, I'd say a lot.
Yeah.
Just to add on that, and it doesn't happen at Checkers or ShopRite, any of the ShopRite brands, but if that happened to you in a Woolworths or a Pick n Pay, they have introduced their own voluntary compensation policy for wrong scans.
Oh, wow.
So if it scans higher at the till than what was advertised at the shelf as a special, or you like 3 for the price of 2 and you didn't get that didn't happen, then you get compensated. In the case of Woolworths, you get the item free and any identical ones for the lower price.
Wow.
And at Pick n Pay, they give you double the difference. So that would be, so she was supposed to get 50 Rand off and she got
30 Rand off. Or she said she got 20 Rand off.
So 30. So she would have been entitled to 60 Rand off the actual price.
Oh, and
So
if
in
it
some
was,
cases, it could be free.
it's free. It can
Yeah.
fall under being free. That's amazing.
Yeah, so it's good to know because they don't talk about it in the store.
No.
There are no signs up. But I keep checking when I get a complaint. Someone says, no, even the manager said that doesn't exist anymore. Get hold of head office. Yes, we haven't got rid of it. But they certainly don't advertise it.
And then a message coming in here. Chris says he was taken in by a Take-A-Lot ad he found on Facebook. It took him to a fake site. He didn't realize it at the time. He ordered pots and lost 4,000 Rand.
Oh, that 4,000 number keeps coming up. That was what Linda spent on the Chinese
Items
junk.
never arrived. He warns that if you check, you are on the right site because this Take-A-Lot page looked
I was going
genuine.
to say. So we talk about this a lot. And these things are simple ways to protect yourself. Look at how you can contact the company and then check that those that are real, that the phone number, etc. And then always just check on the URL. That's the website address. Click on it and check it carefully, because if it's been a clone site, like Take-A-Lot, they could just leave the E and Take-A-Lot out or something. And so you must look at it really carefully. And the other thing that's always a tell is the price. It'll always be at a really appealing price. Well, look, in the case of this Millie and Jilly, or Mo and Joe, Mia and Leah, they claimed that everything was on sale. And if the products had been of the quality that the website leads people to believe, then it would have been a good price. Everything was slashed, but it was misrepresentation. But in the case of like that, they'll have, it's pots, but in the case of clothing, they always have all the sizes and the shoes available, which doesn't happen in real life, certainly not if there's a sale.
Especially on a sale,
Yeah.
correct.
So, I mean, that's got to be a red flag as well. We just need to normalize talking about this stuff wherever we gather, in our families and in our friend circles, and all the bank scams as well. I just wanted to say, beware of bank scammers coming to you on WhatsApp. This is a new thing as well.
What? They're sending us WhatsApps now?
Yeah. My colleague, Maya Fisher-French at News 24, made a video that's going crazy, telling people about this. So you see if you can find that. Yeah. Someone just sent it to me saying, is this for real? I said, yes, she's my colleague. It's definitely a real warning.
It's legit. Now,
Yeah.
I wanted to go back on this Miller and Rose Cape Town movie.
Yes.
Is looking at, like you said, the URL .com versus .co.za, is that also a telling sign that the website could be fake?
Well, it depends what the actual... So you go onto the real one. Look, in this case, this is Mia and Leah. They're not pretending to be a big brand. They haven't skimmed all their photos and are passing themselves off as Cape Union Mart or whatever.
Okay.
But if a company does that, as in the Take-A-Lot case, they're passing themselves off as Take-A-Lot, then going to looking at the real Take-A-Lot's URL and then comparing it to the one that you're on, that will save you.
And then is there any way we can report these websites?
Yes, there is. Thank you for that question. The South African Fraud Prevention Bureau has got a wonderful fraud preventing reporting tool called YIMA, which you will know is stop.
Yeah.
And you just Google it, fraud prevention YIMA, and it's for you to report that you've got scammed, and also for you to go on and check out if something that you're a little bit suspicious of is a scam or not. And so the more people report, the more useful a fraud prevention tool, that site will become.
A message here from Lindsay Redmond saying, please tell Jacob to stop interrupting Wendy Knowler and give her a chance to talk. I'm sorry if I was interrupting you.
And I just realized I said the wrong thing. I said bureau. It's a South African Fraud Prevention Service, not bureau. Sorry.
I'm sorry for interrupting
I
you.
didn't even notice because I'm a great interrupter. So no harm, no foul.
I'm just pulling Lindsay's leg. Lindsay, I apologize, but we do have to get questions in. Somebody says, Joseph, I'm Joseph, by the way. I'm a technophobe. What do I look for on the website? Probably similar question to what I've been asking on the scams.
So the URL is the address right at the top. So click on that and just make sure it is the website that you think it is. This is a big established brand because there's this fraud tactic where they create their own fake site with just a slightly different address.
I see.
So that would be Take-A-Lot instead of Take-A-Lot. And you've got what's a shoe brand, they do it a lot. All the big shoe brands, the must-haves, have all got these fake sites. So look, the price is another one. Mm-hmm. These big brands don't have to slash their prices massively routinely, especially if all the sizes are available. So that's, find out what the correct address is and then check it against what you've clicked on via Facebook. Those Facebook ads are, be very, very wary.
Hendrine saying never buy on a Facebook link. Go to
Thank
Google.
you, what I've just said.
And buy on their main site. They agree with you. And then another message here coming in from Deborah Lynn saying there are a number of bank sale auctions, car sale scammers.
Scam. You know this.
Yeah, I know this for sure. I've seen a lot of
Joseph.
them. Where you're welcome, Wendy. The funny part about that is people don't seem to think that a discounted price on a car doesn't make sense. And a simple thing to do is put it onto a Auto Trader or a cars.coza to see if that price of the car matches there. Or they ask for a deposit.
Yeah, of course. But the thing you have to know for sure that will stop all of this in its tracks is that by law, the banks, when they repossess cars, can't sell it as a luck to someone. It has to be legally, it has to be sold on auction.
There's a process.
So this whole thing of we're going to pull it off the auction for you, repossessed car, is then you know you're dealing with a scammer.
We'll leave it right there. Wendy Knowler, I want to thank you so much for your time. It's such a pleasure chatting to you.